Hey guys, welcome back to the Big Intentions podcast. I'm your host, Iralyn, and I'm so excited for today's episode. We talked last week all about summer and like intentions for the summer, summertime madness, but this week, I don't know if you guys have heard this TikTok audio going around, but it's like, there's half a year left. What are you going to do to make sure that you win? And it's like really kind of intense, and it's like clips of people like lifting at the gym and whatever. And as silly as that may sound, it's kind of like puts into perspective, like, yeah, we literally only have half of a year left. Or you could look at it like, oh my gosh, we have so much time left. Like, we're only halfway through the year. And like, that's great. I feel like the latter half of the year is like the best time of year anyways. So in today's episode, I wanted to discuss the topic of how to do a mid-year reset, mid-year check-in, just kind of like center yourself, see like what you've accomplished this year, be proud of yourself, and then readjust and realign your intentions for the rest of the year. And it can be overwhelming to plan like the next 6 months, but basically what we're going to do is just kind of check in, implement systems, and talk about how to do that so that you all can set yourself up for success for the rest of the year. And so I'm super excited about that. And it's just crazy that it's literally already almost July. Like, the 4th of July is next week, and I can't believe it just like snuck up on me like that. Like, I wasn't like, what the heck? No plans for the 4th of July or anything. So it's fine. But anyways, it really just snuck up on me. And so that's crazy. But yeah, we're going to go through and just kind of check in with each other. This will give you, it's the start of a new month on Saturday. Like, you know, there's lots of opportunities to reset, recenter, and readjust your life and move forward with intentions and have systems and goals in place. So that's what we're going to focus on in this episode. But without further ado, we can get into the segments. And I'm drinking a strawberry lemonade today. I just put it with a pink straw, and it's like so aesthetic. But basically, that's my fun drink from Aldi. That's my beveragina of the day, if you will. And so let's just start with the living out loud category. Since I'm feeling chatty today, let's just get after it. And let me tell you, all I've been doing is sweating this summer. This past weekend, I spent lots of time outside. It's been in the 100 plus temperature range for Texas. So it's really been insane. And it's like literally what's going on down here. Like, it's crazy. It's so hot. And also I feel like I've really been like active and working out, taking spin classes and things like that. So I think that's been good for me, because that's literally all there is to do here, is to work out and lay by the pool. So, not complaining, but that's what I feel like that's the only thing I do. Been reading. And so, yeah, let's just get into the content, Rex, because that's my favorite part of a podcast. And, you guys need to know what to watch because it's Content Girl Summer. So, started The Bear like halfway through the season, and it's just as intense and anxiety inducing as season 1. It's just like so much going on, but I like it. There's the love interest with Carmi happening, and I'm here for it, even though like I low-key want him to be with Sydney, not Claire. If you watch the show, but basically it's such a good show. It's set in Chicago. It's like this deli shop. Season 2 is like they're opening a new restaurant, and it's like the dynamics of opening a new restaurant, trying to figure out the menu, all these things. And there was one episode where the like dessert guy goes to Copenhagen, and it's like, that's the most relaxing episode of the whole season. And it was actually really good. Like the film, videography, whatever in it, it's fire. So highly recommend The Bear. It's on Hulu. I started watching it, and just like that, which I don't know why, it's one of those shows that just draws you in, sucks you in, but you just complain about it the whole time. And you're like, why am I watching this? It's so bad. And it's exactly that, but it's just like such a nostalgic show. So you want to like see what happens with these people like 30 years down the line, but it's just not a vibe. It's just not a good show. And it's so weird, and it's just not a vibe. But I will continue to watch it probably. The book I just finished, Look Closer, by David Ellis. I think I mentioned it in last week's podcast, but I hadn't finished it yet. But it really was probably my number 1 book of the year. I really loved that book. It was so awesome. It was a thriller, and it just really took me for lots of twists and turns and like who done it. Could not figure it out. It was crazy. Well, I could figure it out because it kind of tells you along the way, but you still are like doubtful of like what actually happened. I don't know, but it was a really good one, and I highly recommend that book. It was kind of put me into a reading slump though, because now nothing's going to compare to it, but I am currently reading Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, which is, it took me a minute to get into it, but now I'm probably like 100 pages in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm into it. Like, I really want to know what happens with this love story. And so I'm reading it right now, and I would recommend. And then my last recommendation for you guys is, if you are poolside, or even if you're like just working from home, I don't know, it's a good playlist, but the One Hotel Spotify playlist, specifically the poolside one, it's such a vibe. Like, I had it out by the pool the other day, and I was just like, wow, this is kind of like so soothing, relaxing. You can like listen to it while you read, but it really just like sets a vibe, and just you're like feeling like you're in Miami South Beach poolside at the One Hotel. Not that I've been to the One Hotel in South Beach, but I have been to the One Hotel in Nashville, and it actually is so gorgeous and so nice and just so relaxing, and I just love it. So I recommend that playlist. If you guys have any good playlist recommendations, like summertime vibes, send them my way. Like, I'm all for like curating a vibe, setting a vibe, romanticizing your life, like we talked about in last week's episode, which you haven't listened to. I thought that was such a fun episode and like such a good start to summer. So if you haven't listened, pause this, go listen, and come back to this one. So next segment is intentional living. And like I said, obviously embracing my Beveragina era, and yeah, we're doing that. I've been having Diet Cokes by the pool with lemon, or not lemon, lime, and that's a vibe. And people were coming for me, and I posted some shorts on YouTube, and it's really funny because I love haters. Please hate, because it's honestly so fueling for the engagement. Like, everything about a hater is really good for promotion. Like, honestly, I'm here for it. I love it, and I low-key do love getting roasted. So honestly, haters, come my way. You can have it. I do want like some supportive people like to come into the community, but like haters can come on because you guys are great for engagement. And they just like fuel each other in the comments, so it's so funny. Anyways, okay. My intentions for the week. Get more haters. No, I'm just joking. But YouTube Shorts, man, they really be coming out on YouTube Shorts, the haters. So anyways, my intention for this week is to increase my step count and to like get ready every day. So I got ready today. I did my makeup, did a little thing. Really doesn't have to be a lot, but like, I just want to put something on, even if it's literally an oversized t-shirt and a pair of shorts, you know, something that's not pajamas and something that makes my face look like human. You know, that's fine with me. And so basically those are my intentions. I just feel better about everything. I'm kind of doing like a mini cut coming up in July just because my boyfriend's doing one, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be supportive, and I kind of want to see, like, challenge myself for the month. So basically, I'll talk more about that later, but I kind of need to up my steps because I want to up them for the mini cut. And so I'm trying to get at least 10,000 until like the end of the week. But then after that, I'm going to try to get 12,000 steps a day, which is a lot, and we'll see if I can do it, but I think I can do it. Anyways, that's my intention for the week. Just kind of getting more active, you know, lots of hot girl walks, and it's hot. Let me tell you, it's hot outside. It is crazy. So let's move on into words to live by. And this is from the Instagram account We The Urban, and it goes like this. Maybe the amount of extraordinary things that happen in your life depends on what you notice. And honestly, I feel this so hard, and it's such a good reminder because there are miracles happening all around us. There's such great, amazing things happening to us, around us, you know, and it's really all about perspective and choosing to notice these things. Like the fact that I have like a fun drink right now that I'm drinking while I'm recording my podcast, like, honestly extraordinary, awesome, love that. Romanticizing your life, you know, it kind of all goes back to that. It's just really, you have to notice the little things and appreciate those things, because really there are such great things happening in your life, and it's just choosing to see them as good and recognize them and be grateful and appreciative of those things. So I thought that was a good quote to kind of start off the episode. But we can just dive right into the main topic of this episode, because we're going to be talking about, you know, setting intentions and goals, resets, whatever. I feel like a lot of people are kind of doing this right now just because of the timing of the year. Like, it's the mid-year, new month, you know, people like to do reset videos and things like that. And I love a good reset, don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm always resetting though. So it's like, okay, I gotta actually get some stuff done though, because if not, I'm literally just gonna be resetting all the time. But sometimes you just gotta reset to get out of a funk, or like during the summer, you just get back from a trip, you gotta reset. And it just helps to kind of realign yourself and get back into your routines and systems that you've created. And so let's just dive into this topic, because a lot of people are taking this approach of like, check in on your New Year's resolutions that you set. And I'm not really a New Year's resolution kind of girl. That's not really my jam. And so I didn't set any intentions or goals or resolutions at all in the beginning of the year. I kind of did some around March or May. I just did some like intentions and goals I had, but like I just didn't even want to focus on goals, because one, I think goals are kind of like honestly old school, like they're out. Is really about setting up systems and creating habits and implementing those into your day-to-day life. And ultimately it can like lead you to the results that you want to get, the outcomes that you're trying to fulfill. But honestly, it's all about the journey. It's all about the process. It's all about the destination. And that's what I want to talk about in today's episode, about systems, because I think the systems that you create and set up, the routines that you set up in your life, are way more important than saying like, I want to reach this certain goal, you know? And so if you did have a goal or resolution or whatever, you know, you could go back and reevaluate those. So, you know, if you had that, this would be a good time. You can do like a journal, like go through your journal, go through your resolutions or wherever you wrote them down, kind of look at them, see what you have done, what you've accomplished, any progress that you've made. You can make note of those, cross off or eliminate any of the things that you no longer like see for yourself, or like they're no longer aligned with who you are or what you're trying to accomplish in the year. So I would say that would be a good point. But if you kind of just want to reset and start new goals and intentions, you could do that too. And so I think that's just a good way to kind of check in on like, okay, I want to make the most of my time. I want to utilize the time of the year that I have left and set intentions for the rest of the year. And then from there, from those intentions that you set, you can create systems and routines in your day-to-day life that will actually get you closer and closer to accomplishing those things, or to living more intentionally, to becoming the highest version of yourself. And so, you know, personally, I implemented more systems than goals this year, and I just kind of want to touch on why systems are important rather than the actual goals or results that you're wanting to see. So focusing on systems rather than goals is more effective in accomplishing and allowing these systems to become more sustainable in your day-to-day life. You know, like sometimes whenever you just set a goal, you're just hyper fixating on the destination rather than enjoying the process and finding joy in the day-to-day habits and routines that you've created that allow you to get to that goal. And so, you know, not hyper fixating on the goal, but rather just enjoying the process and focusing on the journey instead of the destination. And results will come inevitably, because just focusing on the end goal isn't getting you there. It's about the systems and the routines that you set up in your day-to-day that will ultimately allow you to get to that goal. And so you can look at it as a goal or an intention or whatever, but for a more sustainable life, I think if you just look at things as implementing systems in your life, that seems way more sustainable, because you're not focused on that goal. You're just focused on creating systems that propel you forward. You're not focusing so much on the end result. You're focusing on, I'm creating sustainable systems in my life that time after time consistently being done and performed lead me to this desired outcome. And I think it's just way more sustainable to look at things like that because you're not relying on motivation, which I've talked about before. You're more so just being disciplined and consistent in your systems that you've created. So I just wanted to kind of break down why systems I think are way more important to implement into your life rather than like goal setting and setting intentions. And so really for the rest of the year, pick some, you could go through and have some focus areas that you want to really focus on for the rest of the year. This could be you create categories of your life, like the life pie chart, like I mentioned before. You could say like, I have these 5 areas. Let me pick one thing for each. Or if you just want to focus on one thing, just focus on like one thing. And then to make it more digestible, you could just say, okay, so there's 6 months left and I have like 3 overarching intentions. You could take one intention at a time and say, I'm going to focus 2 months, July, August. Going to focus on this one intention. I'm really going to hammer it home. I'm going to nail it, create and implement systems in my life that propel me forward for that intention. And then once you've been doing that consistently for 2 months, add in another habit, add in another routine, and just gradually build on top of each other and compound that overall, like you're accomplishing things, but it's not like overwhelming just at the start. So you can break it down how you want. I personally would, like what I'm going to do is just pick categories of my life and creating intentions for each of these. So you could like break it out all at once and break it down by categories, intentions for each of those categories. And then from there, implementing routines. And you could say your routine start date is July for this finance category. And then, a month later, I'm implementing the social aspect and just kind of one by one add those categories in until at the end of the year, now you've created this whole system for all these categories in your life. And you've been consistently doing those things for 6 months. So you can break it down how you want, what works for you, what won't overwhelm you. Ultimately, you want things that are sustainable in your life. So I would start there. But basically, I can go through some of my intentions for the rest of the year, some of my main focuses, and the categories that I kind of broke down, and then tell you some of the systems that I'm going to be implementing from there. So, first category is finance. What a fun one. I've been reading the I Will Teach You to Be Rich book by Ramit Sethi. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. But like you Google I Will Teach You to Be Rich, you can find it. You can even find his website and find a lot of these concepts probably on there. But anyways, it's on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. So I'm almost finished reading this book, and I really like that he breaks down the book and the chapters, and at the end of each chapter there's like an action steps. So each week, ideally, you read the chapter, you have the action steps, you go through and do those things. And so a lot of these things you really just set up one time, and then automatically these things are like kind of running in your life. But basically some of the categories or intentions I want to set under finance, and I'll talk to how I'm implementing these systems. So one of the intentions I have, I want to focus on following or adhering to my conscious spending plan or my budget that I've created. And so the system that I'm going to implement in order to do this is on Sundays, probably likely on a Sunday, I'll take 30 minutes and every Sunday I'll check in on my budget and basically track my expenses for the previous week and just spend like 30 minutes doing that. And that just allows me to say, okay, hey, this is what I've spent so far this month, and kind of just check in and say, this is kind of like what categories I have left to spend in. And that just kind of helps me to stay like on top of my finances and to understand like, okay, this is kind of where I'm at. This is what I have left. And because I want to be intentional about where I'm spending my money, what I'm doing with my money. And so this is a system that I'm going to implement, is just 30 minutes on a Sunday, boom, done. Like really simple, starting small. I've already created the budget. Like I've already set up this system. And so it's just kind of that continuous check-in that I'm going to do every Sunday. Another intention for this area is to plan ahead expected expenses and factor those into my budget. So like I know I have some upcoming birthday celebrations for people in my life, some upcoming weddings, and just factoring in those things and cutting in other areas. Just go ahead. If I know like, oh, July, I know I have 1 year anniversary coming up, go ahead and plan for that in there. And so just high level, that helps you kind of to plan for unexpected things. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the finance piece of things. Like it's not always that glamorous or fun to talk about finances. I find it pretty interesting. I'm no expert, obviously, but I just, started reading this book and I think it has a lot of like actionable, tangible things that you can do. And so those are just some things that I want to set up in my life that are continuous things that I check in on. So that's one system. That's my finance system that I'm implementing. That's one of my intentions, just to be more cognizant of where I'm actually spending my money and be more intentional with how I spend my money. So another category is my social life. And so for this, a system that I'm implementing is like once a week, pick at the beginning of the week, pick a friend or some new thing I want to try and try a new social thing, or like make plans with one person at the beginning of the week. Even if it's just going to a workout class, just like say, hey, want to go to this workout class, want to get a coffee after, something like that. And so just starting at the beginning of the week, just saying like, oh, who's someone I could like reach out to, haven't seen, haven't heard from in a while. Doing that's one of my social intentions that falls under that category. The next category, health and wellness. So I'm doing a mini cut in July, mini cut. I don't even know what that means, but I'm doing one. So basically I'm getting more aggressive with tracking my macros. Basically just being more like consistent about doing that, and then increasing my step count. So, yeah, that's just going to make me be more active and going to be on the treadmill a lot this summer. I guess because it's so hot, I don't really know where I could walk around without literally having a heat stroke. So probably going to be watching iPad kid time on my treadmill, you know what I mean? And so the system that I'm creating for that will just be to, look at my week ahead. When are times throughout my day that I can walk on the treadmill, and the counting macros, that's kind of just like every time you have a meal, you're doing that. But one way to plan ahead for that in a system I can implement to not be like frantic, like what can I eat today? At the beginning of the week, maybe on Saturday, I go through and find recipes. I find the meals that I want to make for the week. Okay, make my list. Sunday, go out to the store all at once, get everything I need for that week. Boom, done. Don't have to go to the grocery store anymore. You took 2 different, times. You set aside time to meal plan and then actually go buy your groceries. Now you're set up for the week. And that's a system that you can implement to stay accountable and to stay on track when it comes to like tracking your macros or something. And the step count, again, go through at the beginning of the week, set aside times, set times that I'm walking on treadmill, like entertainment, iPad kid time, whatever it is. Check emails on the treadmill, whatever you want to do whenever you have time to like block it on your calendar. So that's a good way to actually just set it up for the week and plan ahead. And so then you're more likely to stay accountable when you have it like scheduled out in your planner. So that's a good one. For the next content creation, so I made this a category. My intention is to create more content. Okay, so I want to create more YouTube content, for example. I want to vlog more. Okay, if I want to post every Tuesday and Saturday, I really need to be vlogging pretty much every single day. So for the week, planning just for the week ahead. So basically, if I want a video to go up on a Tuesday, maybe that can be a sit-down video. I'll go and say, Tuesdays are sit-down videos, so on Mondays, I need to record something and come up with a topic. And I could plan out for a sit-down video like weeks ahead. I could say, next week is going to be Q2 book update. Okay, need to film that on Monday, edit that on Monday, whatever, so it can go live on Tuesday. So time blocking that out in my calendar and actually planning ahead what the content ideas are for those videos, that's a system that I would be implementing. And then another, like for vlogging, I just need to say, okay, every Wednesday to Friday, or like Tuesday to Friday, whatever it is. Okay, days in my life, I film Tuesday to Friday, and then edit on Friday, upload Saturday. Something like that, and just being consistent. Like, I don't have to scramble for video ideas. Like, I just know this day through this day I'm vlogging, and every Monday I'm recording a sit-down video. Same thing with the podcast. You know, I really want to be more intentional about creating content. I want to add value to my listeners, and if I plan ahead, I think it just makes it way easier to actually create good content and to be more intentional with the content that I'm producing. So another category is home. So kind of want to basically implement a system for cleaning, because right now I just do it like when I get overwhelmed with my space. And if I did a more systematic approach, or took a more systematic approach to this, I think it would work out a lot better for me. I wouldn't be so overwhelmed all the time cleaning. And so just like saying Mondays, I do this, and this cleaning wise. Tuesdays are this day. Wednesdays are Swiffer day, whatever it is. I think if I come up with a schedule, put it on my fridge, that'll just make everything way more seamless and smooth. And I won't get overwhelmed with like, oh, I haven't cleaned in a couple days. Like, I'll just do these little things every day, and then it just stays tidy. And I just think that would be way more effective and a more systematic approach to cleaning, because I don't like cleaning. And, you know, you can come up with other categories for your life. You know, I had a hobbies category, but like, I don't really know what systematic approach I could take. Like every Sunday I paint. I did that a couple Sundays ago. Like, we got back from church and I just painted, like drew a little thing and then painted it. And that was fun and like so relaxing. So really with systems, the best way for me to approach it is to say, what is the frequency that I can do this thing, and like, can I time block it into my current schedule? And that will allow you to be more consistent about doing that thing. Just set up a frequency and actually put it on your calendar. And then I think from there, like, that's a good place to start, and you'll be like, oh, calendar reminder, time to do this. And then you basically have a better system for doing those things. So those are my kind of intentions for the rest of the year, some of the things that I want to focus on for the rest of the year. And, you know, this is a good thing. You could check in on it monthly if you like want to readjust, see what systems are working, see what's not working, you know, go through a pro and cons list and just say like, what is currently working for me, what's currently not working for me, and then, you know, adjusting things as needed from there. And then I think a really fun thing, you know, instead of always, I'm so future oriented, like I always am in the future, like I need to be more present. But also I think it's good to reflect on your year, and you can learn a lot from reflecting on like things from the past year. So just so far this year, like what have you done? A fun way to do this would just be to create like one of those fun little recap videos on like TikTok or whatever. If you're not like into posting on social media, just do it for yourself, like post it, come up with it, edit it yourself, look back on it just to have it. Another thing would just be to actually print the pictures. You know, the thing that you always put off, you don't actually ever print pictures. It's like kind of a whole thing, and just going through and being like, okay, no, let me print some pictures that I've liked that I've taken so far this year. And I think that's like a fun thing to do. So that's a good way to reflect on your year. And then just like writing down your gratitude, like I'm grateful for this, and this that's happened so far in 2023, or writing down your, you know, accomplishments, just kind of giving yourself a pat on the back, like what you've done so far, what you've accomplished so far this year. It's just like a good practice, a good exercise. It'll help to inspire you for what all you can do in the future and for the rest of 2023. And I think it's just a really good idea to kind of reset, realign yourself, and just say, what have I done so far this year? Set your intentions for the rest of the year. That way you're making the most of your time. People always say, like, once you graduate high school or college, time flies by. And I think it really does. And so in order to make the most of that time, just going through your life and going through your day-to-day, being more intentional, implementing systems that actually, you know, progress you further to your achieved to your ideal state, to your highest version of yourself, just doing those little things every day, setting up routines and habits, creating those, implementing them. And then, you'll get even further than you even realized that you could. And so with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode. I'm really excited for just summer and the rest of the year in general. And so I'm glad that you guys listened or watched today's podcast episode. You can find me on Instagram at Iralyn12. Share that you listened to it. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating or review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment. My YouTube shorts, if you're a hater, love you. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for listening, watching, all the things, and subscribe to my channel. I love you guys so much. Thanks. Bye.